HBO. Euphoria returning for season 2. We get the Rue episode, and
Jules.
they only did 2, yeah, and Jules. They just did
Yeah.
Rue and Jules, I think, over the pandemic. Was that 2 years ago now? That wasn't last year, was it?
That was 2021.
Wow, had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, because
I think so.
Euphoria was pandemic delayed. The finale was August 2019. And the interim, Sam Levinson made the 2 Euphoria specials, which are really minimalist, central rule,
Mhm.
Rue and Jules. And he also, of course, made Malcolm and Marie for Netflix with Zendaya as well
Right.
in the interim, because he wanted to work in a way he could, and he just couldn't make Euphoria until they could shoot it in a safer manner. But judging by the premiere, they didn't hold anything back. You have that New Year's Eve house party, which is as dense as it gets for a house party on screen. So it seems like they're back. And I saw this point out in review. I didn't realize this because, again, it's been a while since we saw Euphoria. I actually read some like recaps just to remember like some plot beats, just to make sure I had everything down. But Euphoria season 1 ends in its story around like winter formal time at that high school. The
Right.
specials that we got in the interim took place around Christmas Eve, and this premiere is taking place at New Year's Eve. Obviously, it's a New Year's Eve party as their core setting. So not a lot of time has actually passed in the sake of the show, even though a lot of time has actually passed in the real world. And
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what Storm Reed, Rue's sister, uh, comes across as, because Storm Reed was quite young. I think she's a bit more of a teenager now. It'll probably be noticeable that she's definitely not the same age anymore. We didn't see her in the premiere, so we'll see about that. But it's been a long time for Euphoria, but I'm definitely happy HBO didn't pull anything back and got the show rolling.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but the show has not missed a beat. Because I thought this premiere episode of season 2 was really gripping, and similar to Gemstone, starting off with a flashback sequence to start the season. You see basically Fez's whole history, Fezco's upbringing, and
Mm-hmm.
it, really, really brutal and violent um, history of his life, and being thrust into big brotherhood, then into parenthood, basically, of his younger brother, Ashtray, um, really, really quickly. And just, I thought that was a really great choice to start the season, especially as you kind of bookend the episode with Fezco choosing to throw hands with, I guess not even throw hands, really just assault Nate
Beat down.
at the party. But uh, yeah, I was so impressed with just how this
Mm.
episode felt like it moved from one tense and gripping situation to another, and just kind of like kept this level of anxiety throughout the whole episode. How about you?
Yeah, totally. I think, when you think of what Euphoria is, there's a lot of like key touchstones that made the show really stand out and succeed in 2019. I think 2019 is a, really strong year for television, and Euphoria was a big part of that. You think of the lighting, the neon lighting that characters are constantly cast in. Even something as simple as like Jules having like crazy detailed eye makeup constantly. There's an aesthetic to the show. And from a structure standpoint, you have the cold open centering around one single character featuring Rue voiceover. And Fez did not get a cold open in season 1. Fez became a very popular character through the course of season 1 in real life. Thus, I'm sure that had a big part in motivating Levinson to flesh him out even more, and to deliver on that cold open right away for Fez in the premiere, really choice. And then also to have, I think something people are going to start shipping and really love with his conversation with Lexi on the couch. And then at the end, of course, him not backing down from Nate, fulfilling what he said to his face and just beating the living pulp out of him at the end. A completely satisfying episode for Fez, a character that just really became, if the most popular, if not the most popular character on the show in season 1. It was an awesome example of like fan service meets the show being what it's always been, and also just kind of making sense as a premiere to kick off a new season of the show. I was quite impressed from everything with Fez, but in general, I think the whole ensemble is served, I think, just well enough for a reintroduction that this premiere basically is.
Yeah, completely agree. Fez as a character, clear standout and fan favorite from season one. Um, I thought he was just fantastic in this episode, and seeing the multitudes of him. Right, not only uh, him dealing with this really intense and scary drug dealer situation where he's basically stuck up at gunpoint.
Hmm.
With Rue and his younger brother, and just trying to like navigate that as best he could, to having this very like charming conversation with Lexi on the couch, like you mentioned, and then obviously with the beat down at the end. He gets to do a lot in this episode. Some good minutes for Fez. What other moments of the episode did you find yourself most invested in, though? I'd say for myself, the all the stuff with Rue and Jules actually kind of took a back seat, and I
Yeah,
found myself
totally.
a lot more engaged with the other storylines going on.
Yeah, I mean, you have Kazi, Sydney Sweeney, and
Mhm.
Nate, Jacob Elordi kind of linking up with circumstantially on the way to the party. And whether it's alcohol induced or not, beginning to hook up. And then there's this tension of is Maddie, is Alexa Demi gonna find out? Yes, she's not really dating Nate right now, but Kazi's her best friend. You can't do that. And they both know they can't do that, but you know how it goes. So that tension in the bathroom, I think we all saw that coming. They're gonna hide in the bathtub when they realized the window wasn't gonna work. But the way they maintain that tension, especially with the phone, and then actually having the phone go off and having Maddie not even like check who it is, doesn't give a fuck. But I thought it was all handled really well. And I think kind of a good use of Nate, because I think Nate can be a bit cliched in his just villainy. And like he's a big part of so much of like the conflict and the plot in season one that I think can be a little tough to grapple with at times, because I just feel like it was his actions often kind of uh, venture on like the beyond believability at times. But I think the way that he was used here in kind of like a triangle with Cassie and Maddie, and like the stuff with Cassie is completely new. Uh, you just amazing tension, right? You have Algie Smith coming in too. It would be a betrayal to his best friend as well if he found out he was with Cassie. Like it's this whole thing, right? And you have to imagine there we might see this played out further in the rest
Sure.
of the season. But yeah, I thought that was a nice thing, because it's kind of like it's built up from the past season, right? All this tension, all these character relationships, and just see something that could be a nuclear bomb about to explode in this friendship group, and then it doesn't blow up. I thought it was all done well.
Yeah, and you see, I think Levinson's ability to really build tension expertly as it cuts between Lexi knocking on the door of the
Yeah,
bathroom and trying, or sorry, Maddie knocking on the door of the bathroom, trying to like get Nate to come out and like, are you taking a shit in there? And Sydney Sweeney getting all teary eyed and worried. That's my best friend. And then it cuts to Rue sitting on the floor, almost going into cardiac arrest, having the person that she's on the floor with crush up Adderall and give it to
yeah.
her, and
Dominic
that
Fike,
scene.
baby.
Yeah, and then you have I forgot what was the other part they were cutting to. Was it Jules at the party or
Jules and Kat, I think, just
yeah,
like dancing and
Jules and
drinking and
Kat?
stuff, talking.
Yeah, and Nate kind of like walking through or being in the bathroom and like freaking out, like cutting back and forth between all this, just really like building that anxiety until finally like he opens the door and Rue's heart kind of starts up again. It's really really well done. I thought that was great. I also loved the shot of Nate at the party, looking through the like decoration at the house or whatever, where he's like
Yeah.
looks to the right and there's Fez, looks straight ahead and there's Jules, looks to the left. I think it was Maddie dancing with that guy, and just kind of like all these aspects of his life that are um, maybe not going the way he want to, or tense in some way. That was really really well done. What else stood out to you about the
Uh,
episode?
yeah, I mean, you have other trademarks too, right? Like soundtrack, key soundtrack drops is a big thing about Euphoria. I really remember Megan the Stallion's to Cocky AF from her Tina Snow mixtape being used in Euphoria season one before Megan had completely gone mainstream. This time around, it's a lot more noticeable stuff, right? It's Tupac hit him up in the car, Rue, you know, saying Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia are mark ass bitches. It's really funny to hear Zendaya say that. And then at the party, it's Biggie, Hypnotize, and DMX. It's like, I don't know how accurate that is for some
Right.
Gen Z high school kids to be listening to Biggie and
Yeah.
DMX. I wish it was, because I mean, that's better part music than fucking Little Baby, but I know that's what they're really listening to.
Yeah, that was something that stood out to me. First of all, the needle drops were fantastic and I really enjoyed them. But I was kind of asking myself, and this was pointed out online, especially on Twitter, like, are these kids really going to be listening to this music? I mean, I hope so for this next generation, but I would doubt that that would be what would be played at this New Year's Eve party necessarily. Um, also just Fez having Ashtray start up the car and say, have the car running.
Yeah.
Um,
You knew it was
then
happening after that.
totally. But I was also, I saw the parking situation there. I don't know how easily Ashtray is going to be able to get
Mm,
out of that parking situation. It's a lot of like, hey, can you move your car for me, man?
yeah.
Like,
In general, I was gonna say it's a lot of people driving to a
yes.
drinking event. To be honest, let's wise up here a little bit.
Yeah, let's
Um,
get some Ubers going.
well, and the other thing too is like there was a few moments when I was like, "You're not gonna kill someone like this, right?" Like Sydney Sweeney could have easily died and flown through the windshield because she didn't have her seatbelt on when they were going 100 miles an hour. I was like, that would be wild. And then the other hand, I was like, is Fez gonna literally kill Nate right now? Because I was
I thought so
watching.
too.
I like stood up when I was watching because I was very satisfied to watch this happen, and I was like, oh wow, that would take some balls too to do that. In general, I thought the whole episode just looked amazing, and apparently, Levinson and HBO and everyone they shot this on film this time around, 35 millimeter film specifically.
Looked great.
They went to Kodak and had them remake Ectochrome 35 millimeter film, which is a film stock that they stopped making in the 2000s. And the Euphoria team basically got Kodak to make a few thousand rolls of a retired film stock to make this show. And it goes a long way because the show looks fucking fantastic and it looks like a movie. And you love to see it.
Absolutely. Super pumped for Euphoria. I'm interested to see how some of the new characters
Yeah.
are brought into the show. Right now there's a lot of mouths to feed. So bringing in more characters to get time. I mean, I can't
Right.
imagine you're going to bring in. They brought in, I think, three people who are going to be main cast: Dominic Fike, Austin Abrams, and Javon Walton. So I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Some of the advanced reviews said that it seems like Cat is going to be getting a bit of the short shrift, relatively speaking, to the rest of the ensemble. Um, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Jules as well, because you had a lot of Jules like internal thoughts on her life and transitioning and just her sexuality and her mental health and all that in the special that came out post season one. It wasn't actually at the forefront as much in season one. On the other hand, season one wasn't like waving a flag and parading around the fact that you have a queer relationship at the center of the show, just in the show. So it has Euphoria has an intelligent view of this sort of thing. So I'm curious to see what the future uh, leads for that as well.
Absolutely. We'll be talking about Euphoria as the season wraps up. You should be watching it as well.